Hello, this is Neville Douglas of Ashanti Dust Property Letting. Right, we've moved back into the apartment and we're going to be just putting everything back in place. Just thought I'd talk to you about, I think they're called helical fittings or something like that. It's basically, you know, you want to fix into a cavity wall and you've got the plasterboard and you're thinking, how are you going to fix into the plasterboard? There's two types of fixings that you can use. There is the, oh gosh, I should know the name of all these, and I'm sure someone's going to get back to me. You've got this kind of fitting, so I'll show you what they are. And there's two types. One goes into the plasterboard, which is the, oh, these are crazy, they're called, okay. We used to call them something slightly different, but these are called metal self-drive plug screws. Long name. I think it's a little bit long, to be honest. So this is what it is. It's a metal self-drive plug screw, and that just screws straight into the plaster. So if you can see that, yeah, that goes straight into the plaster, and then you screw your thing into there. Oops, where's it gone? Oh, excuse me. Right, yes. So basically, that's what we've got on the wall in the plasterwork, holding these two brackets. These were put on by the builder when we initially came to the property a few years ago. Having said that, when you look at the how they are now, they're just fixed into the plasterboard. This only goes so far into the plasterboard. So what, the downward thrust, if you can imagine, of the item that's going to be hung on there. In this particular case, we have this unit here. See if I can zoom out a little bit. No, that's as far as you can go. That unit there has just been hanging on those two brackets over there. So as you can imagine, once all the weight goes into that baby there, that's hung on there, we potentially could have problems. You know what we're going to hang on the walls. So what you tend to find is if you go into apartments or sometimes new buildings, you're going to have the plasterboard walls, which we've got here. And because of the weight of the unit which is going to go on the walls, these really aren't suitable. You know, it says that you can use them for shelves and things like that. Don't get me wrong, they are good fittings, but only if you're going to hang lightweight things on. Something like this unit really shouldn't go on those. So what we're going to use instead is these are called spring toggles, okay? Here's a bag of them. I don't know if you've ever seen them before. That is a spring toggle. If we look at how they go, you drill a hole through the wall there. It's quite straightforward. Then you push your spring toggle through, and then it's hard to see that. And then you open your spring toggle. Let me just open the packet, and I'll get back to you. So there you go. So that's the spring toggle. What happens is that goes through the plasterboard. Okay, I'm not sure how deep the plasterboard is. I think these might be a little bit long, but you can cut them off anyway. It's just cheaper to buy a packet of 10 because we need 6. They will go into the wall, and then once into the wall, let me try and show you this way. That's it. They will open. That will open up, and that will then obviously hold onto the back of the plasterboard. And coming here are my fingers that you can see underneath. What will happen there is that will then be on the face of this bracket here. So it will hold the bracket and it will clamp it against the plasterboard, as opposed to the vertical thrust on the bracket pushing down. This will clamp it to the. You have to be aware that there is a certain amount of weight that you should not put on these, okay? Because the plasterboard will only hold a certain amount of weight. So this is like an intermediate solution. And you could actually use some of those other ones, those other fittings that I've shown you as well, as a backup, so to speak. Okay, so you've got multiple points of fixing as opposed to 2 points of fixing there. So this is what we're going to use for this particular unit anyway. We're going to put this in place. We're going to use these 6 of these, so they're going to be going into the plasterboard, and they will hold it against the wall. And that's it. So I'm probably not going to be able to show you them going in. I'll try my best. I'm going to remove these on the wall, and then I'll show you where they're going in. Right, so the first thing to do is to remove these other fittings. So they'll come out, hopefully in, oh, okay. Right, I'm going to need an Allen key for these. I shall be back in a moment. Hi, this is Neville Douglas again. Right, sorry about that. The battery went flat, as things do. I've taken one of the brackets off, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the last of the second bracket off. Might be a bit of a problem because the thread has been stripped from before. So we're going to try different Allen keys just to see if we can get it off. That one is quite tight. It is very tight, that one. Would be the one that I'm filming. So let's see what we can do. Right, we're going to have to get some pliers on there just to hold it, so bear with me a second. For those people that know the difference, these aren't pliers, these are wire nips. So they're slightly different, but it's just to hold it really. Bear with me a second. Just to hold this while I just try and loosen off this Allen key. There we go. So there is a fitting. Oh, right, okay. So as you can see, the fittings come out with the Allen key, and this is the stuff which is just into the plasterboard. So as you can see before, the unit was held on the wall into the plaster, so it hasn't even gone through the plasterboard by these fittings here, which as you can see aren't holding a lot anyway. So that's why I'm going to replace them. They've used, excuse me, see, they've used a similar fitting to this. It's just that bit there, okay, so from that point there to that point there, that's what's into the plasterboard, and this is a bigger fitting than that, but essentially it's the same thing. So we're going to replace that, or this, with one of these, which is going to go through the hole in the wall, which has been made for us. Might have to make it slightly bigger, but it's been made for us by the fact that this fitting's already gone in, and then we're going to tighten these onto this. So this is basically going to go through there like that, and that will hold that onto the plasterboard, and it will give a better anchor. Because we need this this fitting, or we need to get it out because we need this actual bracket, sometimes it's difficult once the I don't know if you can see that, but that's really tight up against the plate. So even if you try and use the Allen key to loosen that, in the sense that we're trying to get that fitting off there, you're going to have something to hold it. So what you can do is you can get a pair of adjustable grips like these, or pliers will do. Get your Allen key and put that into there. There we go, it's loosened it off. So you can see now that that's coming loose. So now we can pull that, take that off, I'll show you what that is. So that really is the fitting there. So as you look closely, I'll get that off in a second so you can see it. The whole unit, you won't believe this, you know, the weight of it is about, I don't know, 20 kilograms. Was being held in the wall by 3 of those, which had just been sunk into the plasterboard. So 6 of these were holding the unit that the camera is on, which is nearly my height, and perhaps was being held on by 6 of these fittings, which went into the wall here. And you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's 2 more. So there's another one, which is that's another fitting there, and these were holding this unit on the wall. So we're going to put the cavity fittings in, and they're going to obviously replace that. But we've just got to get the fittings out, which are in the wall. We've just got to remove those now. So that's the next bit. So this is a kit I bought about 15 years ago. It's got all different size types of screwdriver heads, the straights, the Phillips ones, hexagon, and some other different types of fittings anyway. So we're just going to see if I've got one that will fit. Oh, I haven't lost my touch, have I? So that we can remove those. So those come out without much, as you can see again, another little fitting. This was holding up the board unit. So take those out. Works is this cavity fitting, you push those like that, goes into the wall, they spring out like that on the back of the plasterboard, and then you tighten this screw, and then that with the washer pulls this against the plasterboard and gives you a better fixing. All this plasterboard here is 2 layers, so it's been fixed. I hope you can see me with this. It's not the brightest in the sense that I'm using artificial light, but as you can see, there's 2, well, you can't see, there's 2 layers of plasterboard which is on here, and then all of this plasterboard is fixed to something called a jumbo stud-work. I think if you've seen the earlier videos from when the apartment was being refurbished, you'll see that they were fixed to that. So it is quite a strong fixing, but you still have to be aware of how much weight you put on in the shelf, because if you put too much weight in the shelving will give. But obviously these brackets are behind the plasterboard, so that these will take the plasterboard with it. It'd take a lot to do that, and I've seen where the plasterboard hasn't been adequately fixed, and a whole sheet of plasterboard basically has peeled off and curved off the wall because they overloaded the shelving, because they put a lot of books on there. So for this and for fixing this unit, I probably find that it's going to be okay. That's it. I'm going to have to make these holes a little bit bigger, because obviously this has got to go through the holes which are in the wall, which are quite small. So we have to make them a little bit bigger so that they can accommodate these. And